Joining us this morning, as I've been mentioning last few days, Lance Drew, of course, with us from the Cable Advisory Board, as well as Martha Sorohan and Cindy Prather. All three of them volunteer. A lot of times you'll see them working in a council meeting. There isn't a council meeting tonight. Matt Crawford also helps out with this. Now, Lance, you've been doing this quite a while.
Yeah, about 6-7 years maybe.
Has it?
It might be more than that.
Yeah. Actually, you went out and bought your own equipment and everything.
Yeah, I started from nothing. Just wanted to get involved.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do it. I was totally lost, and I remember coming over here bugging you guys.
Actually, it's probably about the year we started here.
Yes.
That's 7
Yep.
years now.
Yeah.
What the main thing about today is they need volunteers. Lance is going to start working again here with this paving company. Martha, of course, is busy. Cindy's busy. They both work full-time jobs. You probably need people to help out.
We need people, but actually I think, I'm not sure if we're getting the message out right. We need to, we're looking for people to give us ideas and to create content. And that more or less, if anybody has any ideas what type of shows they want to see on Channel 6, they can email us here at Conneaut TV@sweet224.net and let us know what type of program they'd like to watch, number one. Okay. Number two, if they go on a vacation, if they go down the beach, they can film the beach, film some scenery. If they want to develop their own show, cooking show, or anything that their passions are, just come up there and bring us some material. And if you never have edited before, we'll help you edit. Regis can help you edit. And if they want to do a story and they need somebody to do some interviewing, they can talk to Martha. Jump in there, Martha. But yes, Martha and Cindy, they're very helpful. We have all the equipment there on hand. It isn't like you have to buy a thing. I mean, you can walk up there. I need a camera. Here's a camera. I need a microphone. Here's a microphone. Go out and make your own TV show. Do whatever passion you want to do.
Okay.
To me, it's a lot of fun. I don't understand why people don't get involved doing this, and I'm not sure they understand that they can all they got to do is come up there and see us, and we'll guide them, and help them, and teach them, and especially young people if they want to become like a journalist or a reporter. What a great opportunity to learn.
Sure.
They can do anything they want to do.
And I'd like to add to Lance's comment there too. At the Conneaut Library, we have access. You do, as the public, have access to a camera. I have a tripod, microphone. Come up there and borrow it, and just take it home for a couple days or a week. Just all you have to do is come up, see me. If you need a little lesson, I can do that for you. It's simple, really. So.
You've been doing it quite a while, Cindy.
I just renewed. Yeah, I've been there. I just renewed mine for my 5th year.
5th year.
I started out with Library Line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
With Henry O'Goronichek.
Oh, that goes back.
He was our camera guy, and we started our cable newsletter sort of show. And Henry was our cameraman, and I learned quite a bit from Henry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. He was a good teacher. Let's take this call here. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Pat, I got a question for Lance.
Okay.
Hey, why don't you guys ever film anything out from the racetrack and put it back on Channel 6?
That's fantastic.
That is a fantastic.
I had one out there and I did some filming.
I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
Okay.
Okay. I did do some filming out there before. The only issue that I had there was the dust was so bad on my camera. It really got into some of the controls. I had a hard time cleaning it out. Now, you can go out there, and the owner will let you up in the booth there, and you can film, but you can't get real close to track, but you can film.
I remember that when they tried it several years ago.
Yes.
That was the major problem, was the dust.
It's the dust.
It was hurting the equipment.
Yeah. Now they do make special equipment that you can encase your camera, but that would be fantastic. And if you get somebody that really knows racing, and that can call race. Actually, Mike Bambarker was fantastic narrator.
Was he?
Yes, Mike knows races. He knows the cars. He knows the drivers, and he can go in the pits and you interview the drivers and all that. It would be nice to do that, like have a weekly segment of that, and go out there and film that race every single week. And that really should be done. But it's hard for me to do it in the summertime. That's when I'm the busiest, and I'm working right around the clock.
Well, I think all of us are volunteers, and there are not enough of us to spread ourselves 7 days a week
Exactly,
going around the city.
exactly.
That's why we want more volunteers. Anybody who likes racing wants to go to the library, borrow a camera, take it over there and play around with it.
Yes.
Heck, it would be fantastic to have every week during the season.
I don't know, you've been on the board for quite a while, right?
I think I was on it when you
Wasn't-
were still on it.
Yeah. Wasn't there a concern at first about lending cameras out or something? Because you were afraid that it would be damaged or something?
I don't remember.
Well, let's say this too. At that time, the cameras were way more expensive than they are now.
Yeah.
You can get a really nice quality camera for what I think we spent $300 on a camera.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
pads-
Oh, yeah.
it's
Oh, we're talking thousands back
Oh,
in the
no.
day.
Yeah,
Right.
we're talking.
Yeah.
I paid about $3,000-4,000 for the
Right.
camera I
Yeah.
have.
That's what these are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cameras now, you can get a really nice camera for about $300.
Yeah.
No
And
kidding.
so we have extras. That's why we invested in the community to buy, more cameras so that you
Okay.
can borrow them.
That
And
makes
just
sense.
go to the library and take it out just like a book.
Mhm.
Borrow the camera and then take it back, and Cindy will help you. Now, I don't do that end of it.
Mhm.
You guys do the camera end. I don't do that.
And the cat,
Which is fine. Martha's good
That's
talking
fine, and
on
I wish
camera.
there were
I'm
more
better
people
behind.
who could do what I do. So,
Yeah.
kind of.
the cameras they have now, the small ones for like $200-300, they actually take better pictures than the one that I got. And I bought an HD, full-blown HD.
Yeah.
And evidently mine must have been paying for the technology back then or something, but it's amazing of the quality. It is
No
unreal.
kidding.
Pat, I'm telling you, it's unreal, the quality of these
Wow.
small cameras.
I had no idea that
Yes.
they had come down that.
They've came down a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now maybe a small camera like that, now mine has a lot of controls on, a lot of bells and whistles and buttons and all that, where these smaller cameras, maybe taking those out there wouldn't be as bad on those cameras. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, we definitely need somebody, boy, somebody would be interested in going and filming those races. Hey, come up and get a camera and go at it, have at it.
I know, I think it's Cindy. Don't you tape the summer concerts at the Art
That's
Center?
Art Center.
Which is interesting, because
Yeah.
a lot of times you can't get down there and you get to
Right.
see it. And that's
And that's what
interesting
we
to
do
me.
it for. But, sometimes people miss the event, or sometimes you just can't even get out of the house, and it's a great opportunity for people.
Sure.
It's a great channel for anybody in the area.
Years ago, this goes back 20 years. I used to do a show called, Debbie Newcomb started this, her and Dave DePofi, called Conneaut Close-Up. And it was only like, Henry would videotape it. It was like 10 minutes every week, and you'd talk about certain things that are happening in the community. And things like that is interesting because you get updates on what's going on. Like I think we covered the library, when the library was being built. That's how far back that goes.
I
Step
think we're
by step by
18
step.
years May.
Is it, okay,
I think.
18
Wow.
years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Debbie Zangaro, I think, used to walk me through there and show me what was going to happen next. It was interesting. And so we did stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that Lance and Martha and Cindy are basically saying. If you got ideas out there, don't be shy. Bring them up and
Well, or if anybody wants to join us, what we do, please come forward, because as you said, we all have full-time jobs, and when people say, why don't you do this or this or that, we would love to do all those things, we just don't have time, but
I
we
was
could
going to
use
say,
more
we're
volunteers.
never short on ideas.
Yes,
Just,
we have a lot of ideas.
just
Yeah.
like any other thing,
Yeah.
that that people get involved in.
Yeah.
I remember
Right.
back when we were on the board, Martha, I think it was Dino Giulio wanted us to videotape the softball games down at Lakeview Park. And because of a manpower shortage, we just
We
couldn't
just
do
couldn't
it.
do it, right.
Right. So I understand.
Yeah,
And you can only do so much
Yeah.
when you work a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be everywhere.
yeah.
And they don't have to, if they come up and borrow a camera, do something, it isn't like they have to do it every single week.
Right.
So if somebody says, well, geez, like me, I'm gonna do it one time a year. One time a year is better than
That's
none.
great.
So, and then if this person does something or that person.
Right.
Because, like all of us here on board, we kind of have our own little thing, like, Al Monahan, I mean, that guy goes way out of his way. And he does so much for the sports in this town. He goes to all the games, he interviews, and then there's Heinen, and he helps narrate
Yeah,
it.
well, you know that.
And you know, they work hard, and they're all doing it for nothing. You know, and Matt Crawford, I mean, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
He's filming. I mean, he's got the Outdoor Learning Center. He's really heavily involved. He's donating. Cindy, she's at the library, and she's doing
Yeah.
all her stuff and her filming. Martha, she's got the courier doing everything. I have my little thing that I do with musicians or whatever, but we can only spread ourselves so thin. So
And
everybody.
Lance is
Yeah.
really good at editing. He's,
No,
he's a
well,
great
no,
editor.
no.
Yeah, you are.
You are, you are.
Yeah.
I just put it together. Just slide it together.
But I know, for example, last week at our cable advisory board meeting, I always give a list of events and say this is happening, we might do this and this. And there were at least 5 things that nobody was able to commit to
Yeah.
Sure,
to volunteer just because they don't have time.
sure.
They don't have time.
And I always found it tough, especially at holidays time too.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have family and other things that you have to commit to.
Right, right.
We're talking about cable television, and we're looking for suggestions and people to help out videotaping different events in the town. And like Lance says, he works a long days, long hours during the summertime, so he pretty much is out of the picture in the summertime because he's got to work those long hours. And unfortunately, that's when a lot of stuff is happening out there.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Yeah.
4th of July coming
Oh,
up,
yeah.
Memorial Day, and that's where Matt Crawford comes in very handy because he gets out there and dedicates his time to the event.
And right now, Matt, things are a little slow with him too. He doesn't have a car right now. So
Right.
After that,
Yeah.
after that accident,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's,
so
he's gonna work his.
he counts on a
Yeah.
lot of us for a ride. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have a council meeting tonight. Well, you have a
No, work session at 6 o'clock, right.
but the regular council meeting will be next
Next
Monday.
Monday.
Monday, yeah.
So how long, Cindy, does it take to set up for a council meeting? To get the cameras in place?
Well, Lance probably knows more about that. So I'm not there every Monday. I'll go and man a camera every once in a while as time allows. But you're probably
It's about
he
20
says-
minutes. You can
Yeah.
set them all up to 20 minutes.
Can you do it that quick?
Yeah, you can set the cameras all about 20 minutes, and you got to go through and check all the.
How many
all-
cameras do you use?
There's 3 of them up there.
3?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
doesn't Regis pretty much get those
Yeah,
set up?
yeah.
Regis Galvin,
pretty-
the
yeah,
coordinator.
Yeah,
Usually
Regis has it pretty much set
when I
up.
fly in, they're
Yeah.
already up. So
Same here.
Yeah.
Boy, flying.
So you really don't know who sets them up. You just fly in.
stop. Yeah.
I
get
noticed
there, they're
that when they do the awards presentation, you could hear it better now. Did they set some microphones up now?
Well, those,
They did.
yeah, then those new microphones too.
They pick up.
They pick up a lot better.
Do they?
Yeah, those were a major improvement.
Okay.
We got that new set of mics for the council.
And believe it or not, at every single one of our cable advisory, our board meetings, that's the number one subject is sound.
It's audio,
It's
yes.
the worst thing to get right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough here.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a guy back there doing it full time. Now, wanted to ask you, Lance, the feature that you put together here the last year or so regarding the bands from the past.
Yeah, yeah.
That had to be a lot of fun, but I know it was a lot of work too.
It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. You know, when I put it together, what I actually try to do, I'll interview a lot of the musicians, and then as I'm interviewing, they're pretty much giving me all their talking points. And then when I'm editing it, rather than hearing like me ask all the questions, I kind of take all that out of there. So I want to, shorten it up and get it quicker.
So you give them a direction to go.
I give them a direction, but then I go back and I start putting it all together and try to make sense out of all the stuff they're talking about.
How long would it take to do maybe a 15-minute show?
Depends how in depth I get. If I have all the material, I can edit it probably within maybe an hour or so. But when I don't have all the material, I can interview the musicians, and after I interview them, and as they're talking about a band they played in the past, and this or that. Oh, now I need pictures. So I'm looking for pictures, and then scanning stuff and articles and all that, and trying to put it all together. So
Right.
I'm trying to get key points out of their talking points, and then put that interject it. So there's something more or less to show as they're talking. So there's a lot to it.
There is.
Yeah.
There's always. Did you see the youth leadership commercial that we did for? That's 4 hours of filming for a 2-minute commercial.
Yeah.
Wow.
We filmed 4 hours So that
Unbelievable.
goes to show you how much is on the cutting room floor,
Yeah.
for a 2-minute
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah.
I see that here when we do things. You think, oh, you can just throw that together. Well, it's not that easy.
No, in fact, I was doing, we did a bunch of promos for
Oh
our,
my
Yeah, yeah.
our
I've
cable.
seen them.
And we're just doing green screen, and that, filming with a green screen is so hard. It's just unbelievable because the lighting, you have all this lighting that bounces off. And you got to do a lot of color correction. And in fact, Martha, I think we filmed you, what, 26 times?
26 times.
I know.
Well,
it's
Here
like-
we
20
go, okay, we have to do it again. After all, I don't even know what
what
I
you
say
don't understand
anymore.
is Lance is a perfectionist.
No.
And yeah, it's hard. It's hard
It's a
work.
camera angle. So like,
It's camera angle.
you'll film it, and then I'll film it one time, she'll do it, and I'll say, okay, and then I'll move the camera.
Yeah.
And I'll do it again,
Yeah.
and she'll do it, and then I'll move the lights, and we'll do it again. And then out of all those shots that I filmed, I'll pick one of them where, as I'm green screening and putting the background behind them, you don't get that green overcast silhouette around your body, and that's what's hard to key out. And Andy can probably enlighten you on that. So,
Yeah, we have a green screen here.
Yeah,
and we've utilized it.
and it's hard to use. You just don't sit in front of it and film it and put something behind you. There's a lot of keying into it. There's a lot of tools you have to use. So, but it was fun. It was a challenge. And
Another thing that Lance, where do you do that at, the green screen?
I actually did it at my
He
house.
did that in his basement.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we really
He
need
took
like
over his basement.
we really need. It'd be nice to have like a studio, a building where we could set up props.
Yeah,
And so if we do interviews, we'd have different props, different background settings, and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
Just kind of like what you have going
Yeah.
here. You have
Yeah.
your green screen up here, off to the side.
yeah,
yeah, we can just move those curtains.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Martha, where did you videotape the Bart Wheeler interview?
That was at the library.
We did that at the library.
I was going to
We
say, it
wanted
didn't
to
look...
do it outside by the track and field, but it was, what, snowing or raining or
Yeah,
something that
it was
day.
cold and snowy, kind of
But I,
spitting rain.
that's why Cindy is invaluable. I will call Cindy and say, I'm gonna interview so-and-so, can you bring the camera? So she's almost always available.
And a lot of times people
Yeah.
just come right to the library. She'll come
A lot
right
of
to the
times we'll do the
library.
library.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say, it looked like a different backdrop to me. Well, of course,
Well,
he had the
we
big...
found-
he loved that that tapestry. He's
Found the
like, "Can I
tapestry
see
in the
that?"
library. It was hanging on the wall, so we
Yeah.
just moved it in there, and he liked that.
Yeah.
I mean, as I
And
said,
as
we
a
wanted to be at
matter-
the field, and
Right.
the weather
As a
wasn't
matter of
good.
fact, Mark Wheeler, if he's watching, we
Yeah.
are keeping it there. He is such an interior decorator. We just love it right there, so it's gonna stay.
He was on the show. He was a good interview
Yeah.
because he's a lot of fun. I've known
Yeah,
him since he
he's
was a
We
kid.
love, I've known
Yeah.
him forever. It seems like his wife Karen was Carly's kindergarten teacher, and
Oh, yeah,
he used
yeah.
to help out. I was a room mother, and he used to help out, being a room one of the
okay.
room mothers too. And that's how I
Yeah.
met him. He'd be
Yeah.
the great guy.
Speaking of Carly, she's moving on, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Is this her last
Yeah.
week or next week?
I think it's like around the 16th or
I think
17th.
the 17th, she
something
said.
like
Okay, that's
that.
next Friday.
Yeah,
Believe it or not.
yeah, yeah.
You know-
she did a good job. I hate to see her.
Yeah.
leave.
I know. I hate to see her
Hometown
go too. I
person,
liked
yeah.
having her around.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna miss her, but it gives us a place to visit now too.
Yeah.
So,
That's the
and
way to
she's
look
close.
at it.
She's closer to the boyfriend. You know that usually.
That's what usually does it.
They pull him in and
Yeah.
yeah.
What were you going to say, Lance?
I was going to tell you, you could have had a nice little show of your own today. You had your computer fixed.
Oh, boy.
Stop and think about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when Tom came over to work on your computer,
Tom Kaiser, yeah.
all the stuff that Tom did on it. Just think if he would have filmed it, and maybe he could have talked a little bit about where he
Oh,
was
yeah.
going, what he was doing. That'd been a nice little show.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Here's
Never
how I-
thought of it.
That's what I mean. Simple stuff like
And I
that.
had the camera right there.
You could have filmed it, and Tom could have did a little bit of narrating or talk.
And
Oh, I'm
he-
going here. I'm
yeah.
going there.
And which he does. He does that for you automatically.
And somebody has sitting at home watching that. Well, I got the same program on my computer,
Yeah.
and they can watch that. And
Yeah.
then Tom would probably do it. Put on a little segment like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for information from.
Here's another idea. I used to love. Do you remember Vicky Marcy's little show with
I
her
was
mom
just going
on
to
it?
mention that. Yeah, the
I
cooking.
love that cooking
Yeah.
show. If
Yeah.
somebody out there, we'll find somebody to film it for
Yeah,
you.
we'll find somebody to film it.
And it doesn't have to be all the time. It can be once a month, or
Yeah.
we'll
think
figure
that's
it
all she
out.
did.
I think that little cooking show was really cute. It was
Everybody
so
liked
good.
that,
Her
yeah.
mama sat there with her,
Yeah.
and I think Regis filmed all those, right?
He
did.
He went over
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the house.
Yeah,
and
he
filmed
And then
those.
she fed him afterwards. After what she cooked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just think those cooking shows are so popular. People love them. It's
Yeah.
down to earth, and the part I loved about it was like it was, she stirred the stuff up, licked the spoon, and put it in the sink, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
Like
at
you
home,
do, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
And
I did
she
too. I
had
thought
fun with it.
And she had fun with it. And her
Yeah.
mom cracked me up. Her mom was just, so
She
funny.
hardly said anything.
Yeah, I know, but she's so funny.
Well, the other thing that you mentioned was flower arranging. There must be somebody out there who loves to do flower arranging. Just even 15 minutes. I mean, that is just fun to
Right,
watch.
it's whatever, actually, it's whatever your
Whatever
mind can think of.
hobby, yeah.
A hobby, imagination, just, to be creative.
Yeah.
And, like I said,
Do you have any restrictions as far as businesses or anything?
Um,
You know what I mean?
No.
So
I mean,
it's not-
no,
We really don't.
if you're showing like what you do, as far as, how to,
Right, like you could get a florist to do something like that.
You could get a
Yeah.
florist to do it,
Yeah.
I've actually done stuff where I've done some paving, and I've showed a little bit of it. How.
Yeah, you did one for me.
Yeah.
You did my
Yeah,
driveway.
and how we do it. So I mean, but I don't do it as if I'm trying to promote my company or anything.
Promote D&D paving.
No, I mean I won't go down that road, but I will do it. I will do it. Maybe show a procedure. If you're doing cold.
Well, I was,
patch,
and that was interesting to me when I watched you last fall.
Yeah.
Do my driveway, you asphalted the driveway, and I had no idea what you had to go through.
Yeah.
You had to dig the whole thing up and get the stone out of there, and I was amazed.
Yeah.
At that. I mean, layman like I wouldn't have any idea. So it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just little segments like that, or if you're a carpenter, or if you lay tile on the floor.
And I think Matt used to do something like
Matt
that.
used to, yeah. So I'm sure there's so many people have
And
ideas.
there's
Right.
you follow along suit, sort of like with Library Line too.
Yes.
If you're a group like the Girl Scouts and you want to have a little Girl Scout show, or a group, some sort of group,
Yeah.
tops group, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever, that you could form a small little show, just like we have. Sometimes
Yeah.
Library Line's half an hour, sometimes it's only 20 minutes.
Right.
Our newest one that
Yeah.
we do with Vicky, that's only not even, I think it's
Yeah.
probably like a 15-minute
Yeah, I watched
little
that the other
show.
night.
Oh, yeah,
And,
we're gonna miss Vicky.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised that she was retiring because
Yeah.
she's been there for like 30 years.
30
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was surprised that all you girls held up. I mean, I thought maybe.
I know. Well, we tried hard. It was really hard.
That's what Kathy said. She
Yeah.
goes, next time we'll have more fun because this has been very emotional
Yeah.
to do. So.
But I
It
think
was.
our goal, though, you mentioned groups. If you can find somebody in your group who's willing to come in and learn how to run the video camera, then you can come out and borrow
That's
the
how I
camera.
started.
Mhm.
Borrow the camera, take it to your group, take it to your event, film it, bring it back to the library. Cindy will edit, right?
Well, I don't do any of the editing really, but
Somebody over there does.
well, Kathy's done editing,
Okay,
but I don't know
okay.
if her.
Or Regis
time
will edit,
was.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, Regis-
Bring us the footage
Yeah.
and we'll handle it from there.
All you have to do is, and pretty much like when we do Library Line, we try to film it in order, but a lot of times we don't. Like our Halloween special, a lot of times that's a whole week's worth of filming here and there, and it's filmed. Sometimes you film at the end before the beginning, so there's some more editing involved with that. But for the most part, we film in order.
Because you can
So
do,
it's
because
not-
if you do it that way, Cindy, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we try to do that here. If you do it in order, that does limit it to editing.
Oh yeah,
It does
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot,
You,
yeah.
you script it out. Have
Yeah.
it all scripted out, and that really
Right.
saves a lot of time rather
So
than
we
just
try to do
improv it or
that.
something.
We try. It
Yeah.
saves a lot of time editing, but sometimes you just can't. So if it's not filmed in order, that's no big deal either. With some of the software now,
Yeah.
from what I understand, you just slide it in and
Yeah, it's cutting and splicing, and really when you're editing, you always want to keep in mind the story. So whatever the conversation is, keep in mind when you're doing editing, listen to the conversation. It's the story is going to help you. It's so much easier, rather than just putting a bunch of talking points together, but you got to connect all the dots.
No,
So it
eventually I
leads
like to
you,
get into
yeah.
that editing part of it. There are some things that attract me a little more, like cross-stitch and quilting and some of those things more than the editing. So sometimes if I tend to gravitate that way if I have spare time, then I do. Because I sit at a computer almost 8 hours a day.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is go home and sit at a computer
Right.
again, you know.
Right.
And I'd rather
That's
enjoy a
understandable.
book or something
Yeah.
like that where I like the filming part and being creative and doing those sorts of things. Although I went down to film, I told everybody at our meeting, I went down to film the Conneaut Creek Jam. That was my little thing. And it was so exciting at the time, and then I watched it back on TV and I thought, oh my gosh, this is like watching paint dry, you know. It was awful.
It was interesting though.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get down there that often,
Well,
so
yeah.
I got a chance to
Well,
see.
that's what-
See,
that-
you
that's
hear
what
about
some-
ice
some of them were
jams
saying,
and you never
right.
Yeah.
And
know
I
what they
thought,
are.
oh my gosh, who's gonna want to watch this? I don't know about this, you know.
I filmed. I did that for Pat. This like a couple years ago when we had the real ice jam down there, and I gave it to you.
He also filmed the tornado damage.
Yeah, did that.
Now, another thing that Lance does, and he does this every year, and he donates DVDs to us here to give
Christmas
away of the
lights.
lights,
Oh, yeah.
Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And I have no clue how you do that, except
Yeah.
Bob did do
Yeah,
a
Bob-
feature on,
yeah,
on
Bob-
how you, and you do a lot of it by just driving and
Yeah.
videotaping.
Yeah.
You know, you probably could use a volunteer for that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
And one
it's
year,
long.
I think, I think Alan or Matt or somebody, we gave a little. I did a few like on the east side or something. And I turned it into you, but
Yeah.
I've last couple times I haven't been able to do that for you.
Now,
but
that's
He's like-
a tough editing job.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know you've been up
Yeah.
all night on those.
Yeah, that's real tough because I try to do each individual house,
Right.
and like I said, some of them don't turn out because of the lighting. So you really have to go through every single house.
Was it this year, last year, that you had to do it over again?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't last year. It was a couple of years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, I had to redo them all over again.
That had to be a pain.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Was it the lighting?
It's the lighting because when
Yeah.
you're filming, it looks one way on your viewfinder, but when you get it on your storyboard, it's this isn't going to work.
Really?
You can tell it's not going to work.
Christmas
so.
lights are hard to film.
Yeah,
and,
they're
and
the hardest thing to
fireworks.
film, yeah.
Fireworks are another
Oh,
thing that's hard to
fireworks.
Fireworks
Be
are
very
tough.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
tough too.
Yeah.
You know, another thing would be nice, like the Conneaut Fish and Game Club. Somebody could go down and do a lot of filming down there, and there's a lot of guys that are in like musket loaders and all that.
Yeah.
They could film that, show you how those old antique weapons work.
Yeah.
I mean, stories, that's history. So, you know, there's another thing they could film.
I remember, and it's probably coming up sooner than later, the trout derby they have
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
In May.
Yeah.
Is it May?
It's
Yeah,
May, whatever.
yeah.
It's
the
usually
third
kind of
Saturday
chilly
is.
sometimes. It's on
Yeah.
a Saturday.
Right.
And,
and usually Matt's down there.
Yeah, he
He's,
usually does go down there and do
He's,
that.
and that was
he's an
interesting
outdoorsman.
to me because
Yeah.
I remember taking my son there 40 years ago, you know, and
Yeah.
now he's a grown-up older guy.
Well, if somebody even did some filming this weekend with a bunch of Easter egg hunts and they have a bunch of footage, bring it up there.
Bring it in.
Bring it in.
And
We'll
it
put
doesn't
Yeah.
matter how old it is.
No.
That's the thing.
We show reruns.
Now, how could a person out there that may be watching this get involved? Could they call you guys? or
Probably
they
call Regis, don't you think?
Yeah, they
call
can-
Regis
they
at
can-
City Hall. The number's in the book.
Yeah.
It's 599-2840.
Yeah,
2840.
Yeah. Now, he's not there all the time, but leave a message.
leave,
and
leave a
he'll
message,
call you back.
or they can email us at conneautcitycattv@suite224.net.
Okay.
So,
And you can always stop at the library too, and I'll see you get connected with the right source too.
Yeah.
If I can't help
Yeah.
you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Get involved, folks. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
great thing. We're the only community, I believe, in Asheville County
Absolutely.
that
That
does
does
this.
this.
Absolutely,
We are the
yeah.
only
You know,
ones. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're on a cutting
Yeah.
edge here that can be
Yeah.
very, very helpful to the community. You learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
Not only for yourself, but you can teach people other
Yeah.
things and show people other things that are happening in our town. And that's what we need to do. We need to promote that.
you know, Pat, they can even contact you because they're,
Yep.
Andy right over there, he's listening, I see you out there. But he's
Hi,
he's
Andy.
part of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy Andy
And
Stevens.
yeah, and Andy can refer, get a hold of one of us. Or,
Yeah, yeah.
So, just drop us a line. Just
Yeah.
climb aboard.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
fun.
You guys got anything on the storyboards coming up that you'll be doing?
Something big, huh? I don't know.
I don't know. That's Martha's department. She knows what.
I'm just trying to think, well, but we had a lot of things coming up and nobody seemed to be able to cover
you know,
them. I'm trying to think.
Be
what-
sure to watch Dr. Rufus' new show too.
Oh, yeah, we have Dr. Rufus.
Yeah, he's,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be on this morning,
Yeah.
but he's in Arizona. So he
Oh, is he?
yeah.
He's on
He-
vacation.
He is
Yeah.
the best.
Oh, he is so good.
We had a list of for his first episode. We had a list of 10 questions for him. He got
Well,
through
look,
one.
can I interject?
Oh,
here?
sure.
It was his idea to do the show. He came to us and said, could I do a medical question show? Now
He
he
knows
does.
how to work the media.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He does. He does the same thing for
GOJ.
WGOJ. And yeah, he said, can we do this? So we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to be on all the time.
Does he do it once a month or?
Well, we're doing it once.
We filmed 2 episodes.
I think each episode is
4.
going to run for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be 2 different ones every
Mm-hmm.
month.
Has it run yet? I haven't
Was
seen
it
it.
on last week? Is
I
it on
haven't
yet,
seen
Cindy?
it yet.
Do you know? I mean,
Yeah,
I live
yeah,
in
yeah,
Ashtabula.
yeah,
I
yes, it
can't even
was.
watch the
Yeah,
station.
it was
so
on.
it was on already.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Oh, he's so personable. Well, he wanted
I love him on the
questions,
show.
and obviously we didn't have any yet because we just started. So the library girls asked. They had a list of questions, but he only got to one
Yeah.
each segment because he can talk so much on one question.
He covers prevention and treatment and actually what we're, the subject, the definition of what we're talking about. He'll
He's
cover
so
all
good.
aspects
Yeah.
of one.
You know, he was originally
yeah.
going to be a priest.
Really?
Yeah.
He was in seminary.
Seminary, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. He's a good.
Good
I
guy.
love him on the show. He's
Yeah,
great.
he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to wish you guys luck, and thank you so much for what you all do. I mean,
you're
it's
welcome.
amazing the volunteers and time that you put in. Of course, you next week assignment's probably next Monday night at the council meeting if everybody's going to be there. That'll probably be your last one,
Yeah.
probably.
I've been,
And the new city manager is going to be there.
At the meeting?
He's going because they're going to sign or pass an ordinance approving his contract.
Okay.
He said he was going to be there, so we'll
Good.
see.
Yeah,
He'll just
I'm
be
looking-
sitting there, I think. I don't think he's going to speak, but
I'm looking forward to having him on the show
Yeah.
when he gets acclimated here.
He
Yeah.
is the best. I've
He's
met him.
Have you met him?
I'm in leadership this year, and the director of leadership
Is his
board
wife.
is his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've met him quite a few times, and
Yeah.
he's the best.
yeah,
Great.
he's good.
I'm glad to hear
He
that.
knows so much.
He is
Really,
very
really is good.
very smart guy.
Yeah.
Young fellow too.
Young,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Looking forward to meeting him
Yeah.
and see him get started.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you get a hold of Lance, Martha, or Cindy, Cindy probably the easiest at the library.
Yeah.
And volunteer, please. Help out these guys. I mean, they can't do it all by themselves. So thank you for coming in, Lance, Martha,
Thank you for having
Cindy.
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, good luck to you. Okay.
Okay.
Don't forget, you got to do my little part when I drive.
We'll film that.
Film that one.